no rules, no authority, and no judge or consequences for your choices. That's what postmodernism has projected, and that's the mindset that we're living in. Now understand this. We are all infected by that ideology. I've studied me enough to know I'm like the world I live in. I got to fight to overcome the reality. That's why Paul talked about in Ephesians 2. We fight against our flesh, we fight against the devil, and we fight against the world system. The world system, Ephesians 2, 1 through 4, talks about all these kinds of things that control how everybody thinks. Thank you, Brother Dr. For a moment. Now, what don't you realize is that these things identify the battle that we have. Now, so how do you communicate a message about God in a world that thinks it's the only standard? Now, the problem is that most churches have taken the position the best way to communicate God is to talk about how Jesus will fix it for you. Oh, yes, he will. Okay. So we talk about God in the context of how you ought to come to God because he's going to fix your money. Yeah. He's going to fix your marriage. He's going to fix your kids. He's going to fix your employment situation. Come to God because God will fix everything for you. The problem is that that's not the real message of the gospel. You don't come to God to get your stuff fixed. Because God's plan for you may not be to fix you or your stuff. His plan might be to use you in a messed up world where he needs somebody that's fixed and not fixing your world. The world you're living in has a mindset that it's all about me. If I don't get what I want out of it and what I need out of it, it don't make no difference at all. And God's point is that it's not I'm not your granddad and I'm not no genie in the bottle. It's not my job to make you happy. It's my job to remold you and strengthen you. That brings us to our text. Okay, I'm going to make this, I'm going to simplify this for you because I think it's so powerful. I want you to understand. I don't know about you, this passage blessed me, but I want you to see, at least get a picture of how this comes together because it's going to answer this fundamental question that we all need answering. What's the message I'm to give the world? First of all, look in Galatians chapter 3, look at verse 6 through verse 9. Here's the first part of your message, verse 6 through 9. Here's what Paul writes. As Abraham believed God, it was accounted to him for righteousness. Therefore, knowing that only those who are of faith are sons of Abraham, and the scripture, foreseeing that God would justify the Gentiles by faith, preached the gospel to Abraham before, saying, in you all the nations shall be blessed. So then those who are of faith are blessed with believing Abraham. The blessing came through Abraham. God says to Abraham, I'm going to bless you, and all of your seed is blessed, Abraham. The blessing comes through Abraham because the blessing comes through faith. But after Abraham, the Bible talks to us about God gave Moses. Y'all heard Moses before? Moses gave what? The law. The law. Why was law given to Moses when he knew you couldn't keep it? The blessings come through Abraham and the cursing comes through Moses. Verse 10 begins with that idea. The blessing comes through Abraham and the curses come through Moses. Now let me give this to you in a nutshell. And the lesson can probably be yours if you get it. The prodigal son in Luke 15 went to his father. He said, Dad, I want my inheritance. Now, it would be convenient if you were dead and I could get my stuff. Ain't my fault you ain't dead. But I want my stuff right now anyway. And the father says, here's your stuff. And the boy goes off and does what? Wastes everything he got. To the point he's living. Anybody ever been to a hog pen? He's living among, he's working with, and hanging out around. So there ain't many things that smelly. Now, I know you like your ham and your pork chops. He ain't much as nasty as a pig. Will literally eat. Yeah, if you knew what they ate, you'd probably stop eating them. But he gets so bad off that he concludes, I need help. See, God made us, but he knew you was messed up. He knows you got a tendency to want to do stuff that ain't no good for you. He knows that you have a mindset, there's a tendency to try to do wrong. What is God going to do to help you to realize just how messed up you are? See, if there was no speed limit sign out on the highway, y'all would drive like you crazy. If there was no rule, no law, no guideline, you would drive 80, 100 miles an hour. We'd be having more folk down the road. Why have they put laws? Laws are put in place because you can't be trusted. If you can be trusted to act like you had sense. Okay. When our children were coming up, we said a curfew. Why? Because you ain't got no sense to come home at a decent time. If I tell you, well, baby, listen, you know what? I trust you. Come in whatever time feels good for you. Karen, if you told your kids, I trust y'all. Y'all just have a great time. Mama trusts you. Just come in whenever you feel like it. I know you're going to pick the right time to come home. It'll be next week, bro. But you said I can come in when I got ready, and I wasn't ready till this week. You know you can't trust your kids with a standard. I don't care how sweet your baby is. Put some cookies in front of them. Now, you can only have one cookie, baby. They're right here. Whenever you want your one cookie a day. I trust you to get one cookie a day. If you told them, you know what, the cookies are here, I trust you to have enough sense to know how to handle cookies, you know, so therefore, you know, just one a day is the most you should really handle, but you know what, they're right here, but I trust you to handle that. No, you give a guideline and a standard because you know they ain't got enough sense to be trusted. Why did God give the old covenant law? Because God looked at man and said, y'all are sick. You're sin. You make bad choices. All these ideas I shared with you control and direct your mind, and you don't know how bad you are. You think you're better than what you are. I will give you some rules and give you some laws and give you some guidelines so when you look at yourself, you can say, Lord, I can't measure up to that. And God can say, I know you can't, but I need you to realize how messed up you are. God has given guidelines and standards. The old covenant law was there for the purpose of helping you to realize that you ain't got it together and that you need some help. Amen. It's like the father was talking to his son. He said, son, I want you to go downstairs and get my briefcase. A little boy about 4 or 5 years of age, and went downstairs, and about 30 minutes passed. He said, well, son, the boy came back upstairs crying. I couldn't do it, Dad. I couldn't do it. He said, what you mean you couldn't? He said, I tried. I couldn't bring it up. He said, son, did you try every resource you've had access to? He said, I tried everything. He said, no. Did you try every possible resource you had access to bring it up here? He said, I tried everything I know. He said, no, you didn't. He said, son, you didn't try everything you could have tried because you never asked me. God needs you to know. See, the world you're living in, don't think anything's wrong with it. You know, and I just, you know, I don't mean that personal, but, you know, I got a little son. My son ain't but 8, 9 years of age, and he's not sure. He hasn't decided whether he wants to be a girl or a boy. So I want the school to make sure there's a, you know, matter of fact, right now, my son is trying to decide, and I'm not making this was in the news last year. There's a boy, and the parents were angry at the school. They said, listen, our son, he thinks he wants to be a girl. He wants to be able to go into the girl's bathroom and use it because he feels he's a girl. He wants to dress like a girl and be like a girl. So if that's what's right for my son, it's all right. The world you're living in believes that there is no clear standard. So what God does, he says, I know you can't be trusted to take care of stuff yourself. But the problem is that you don't think anything's wrong with you. You know, I just don't like women. I'm a man, but you know what? I'm different. I'm just different than everybody else, and I don't have an attraction for women. I'm illustrating y'all. Don't y'all be involved. I have a tendency to be drawn to other men. Or the females say, you know, I was in high school and college, and they told me all the time to watch them boys. The boys try to get you pregnant, and I start ducking boys, and I avoid being around boys. I hung up my girlfriend's boy, and we got to realize that, you know, I think I like girls more than I like guys. I'm just attracted. That's my way. You're living in a world that emphasizes the idea that whatever you want for you, it's fine. And if you believe that whatever you think you want is fine, you never feel guilt. You never feel bad about the wrong that you do. That doesn't just work from a spiritual perspective. There are young people right now who will walk up there and kill you for $10 in your pocket and feel that your life was worth only $10. Feel no bad. I don't feel bad about it because getting that money was what's best for me. And if you gotta die so I can get $10, so well, $10 was more important to me than your life could be. That's the world we're living in. And what I want you to realize, therefore, is that what God said, he needs every child of God to understand there is absolute truth. There is an authority who made you, who's going to call everybody into question. There is a reality that God has set. And until you choose a set of standards that based on what he declares as being right and not get stuck chasing your own wrong, you'll find yourself realizing you can't set the standard. You are not in charge. In the words of the movie, Lean on Me, you are not the HNIC. You are not the one in charge. But you're living in a world that emphasizes the idea that you are. Have it your way. Outthink the system. And most of us, unfortunately, as I close out, and most of us, I know our children, when they were very young, they listened to us. They actually thought we had some sense. And then they got to be teenagers, and they concluded we were the dumbest folk they'd ever met. And they could see the world and understand things far better than we could begin to imagine things to be.